Hey, Cleo. She won't leave me alone today. My little baby over there asleep. Say hello, y'all. Say hello. I get her. Look at that baby. Look at mommy baby. And my other baby over there asleep. He's just sitting up there chilling. That's Riley. Cleo, on the other hand, just wants to keep it underneath of me. That's my baby girl. Aren't you my baby girl, Cleo? Aren't you my baby girl? Hmm? What you up to? What you trying to do? What you trying to do, girl? I just made me some good old chicken and rice. I don't feel good today. Something's going around in the air. I think it's because of the temperature and the weather changes so rapidly from 90s down to the lower degrees. I hate it. I don't like not feeling good. Yeah, I know. You don't like when mama don't feel good either, do you? Do you? No, you don't. Yeah. You don't like it either, do you? Right? I know. You always want to make sure mommy okay. I know. As soon as I say I don't feel good, you want to lay near my chest. I know. My baby girl. Yeah. Look at that pretty face. I got her because she just so cute. She had all them colors on her. Got a lot of colors. So, she got that nice little cute face. You want to let them see your face, Cleo? Or you just want to just chill today? You gonna let them see your face today? Huh? So she's black, orange, brown. She got a little bit of white near her mouth. And she has cute little whiskers. But she got a little like whiteness streak up here on both sides of her head. I got her when she was like 3 weeks, 4 weeks old. Now she's going on 5 months. My baby girl. I love my little girl. She's such a sweetie pie. Sometimes she get in her little mood where she wanna bite you, scratch your feet, your ankles. She wanna bite your chin. But she know when I don't feel good, I gotta do something to my head. I might cut it down. So I didn't even realize my head had got this gray. It usually was like a lot more salt and pepper. See how she put her arm out? Cause she laying with her mommy. She's my baby girl. Ain't that right, mommy? Huh? Oh, look at them your little yellow eyes with the black. You finally looking up? You gonna look at the camera for me? Cleo, look at the camera. Look at the camera for me. Hey, there you go. She heard her brother, which is a human, my son, yelling. He playing the video game. That's how he do with his friends. He will curse them out on the game in a heartbeat. But she a little sweetie pie though. Yeah. I love my little baby girl. She's paying attention to her other brother, which is a dog named Riley, because she's ready to go over there and bother with him. Aren't you? I'm more of a dog person, but it don't seem like it. Riley would be over here laying with me too, but I put him down for a second to go to the restroom, and now he over there on the chair, sleep. What you up to? Huh? What you up to, Cleo? Huh? What you up to? What you gonna do? Huh? What you gonna do? Yeah, that's you. That's you, baby girl. Just so tired. I don't know what it is, but my throat killing me. My got a little slight headache. More so back this end, back here. My nose is stopped up like crazy. Weak. My whole body hurts to walk, to move around. All of it. I'm getting a little bit better here and there. I usually take some tea, fresh ginger, grinded ginger, red pepper flakes. I'll take some black pepper, some ginger. I think I said ginger. That's how much I don't feel good. I'm repeating myself. So let me rephrase that. I take tea, lemon, freshly squeezed lemon. You put it in the microwave for about 10 seconds. It lets all the juices get inside. And once you go to squeeze it, everything comes out at once. So it only takes 10 seconds in the microwave. You'll thank me later. I take some ginger, grinded, fresh ginger. Some red pepper flakes. I take some pepper, black pepper, and I mix it into a cup. I add a little bit of honey and a tiny bit of sugar. Mix it up and I drink it. And when I tell you, it does the job. If you don't have red pepper flakes, you can always take cayenne pepper. That is her trying to figure out if she wants to stalk her brother, who was over there minding his own business. Hey, Riley. Hi, baby. Like I said, my cutie pie's over here asleep. She's 3. And what I tell you, exactly on cue, she always wants to bother with her big brother. Riley is 13 years old. I got him from the Barks shelter when he was only 1 year old. That's a funny story in itself. Me and my son went down there for another dog, and we was the second in line to get that dog. But the people that came before us decided to take her. And we was a little sad because my son really wanted a dog for his birthday. And so we go down there. I'm like, okay, let's just go down there and see what they got. So we go outside. We sitting outside waiting, getting ready to go in and check out because almost out of time for us to go back and look at some animals and stuff. We sitting there. We see this worker bringing Raleigh across from the animals van that they have outside, and we didn't see him with no tags on or nothing, and he's a miniature pinscher. So we was like, my son was like, oh my, I want him, and I was like, is he up for adoption or has he been taken? She was like, no, we're literally like, we really just bringing him over right now. I said, oh, can I hold him for a second? And she was like, sure. Now, my son held him for a little bit. At the time, my son was like 5, close to 5 years old. He held him for a little bit, fell in love with him. And then when I picked him up, I'm holding him, and then he bites me. He don't do a hard bite, but he did like a little bite. So I put him down on the ground, and he quickly went to the bathroom. As soon as he finished going to the bathroom, he comes back over like, okay, aren't you going to pick me up? So I picks him back up, and I hold him again, and he's fine. And so I gave him back to the lady. I said, we want our name on the list, the first of the list to get him. No matter what it takes, we want our name on the list to get him first. And she was like, you sure you want him? He just bit you. I said, I know dogs. Pretty much I know animals. So I knew that him biting me was just the fact that he had to go to the bathroom and he can't talk. So he was letting me know, can I put him down so he can go to the bathroom? And so I said, because you seen, after he used the bathroom, I picked him back up. He was fine. She was like, okay, because we haven't found out what his temperament is and what type of dog he is going to be in a home yet. We just got him. I said, I don't care. Put my name on that list. So we put our name on the list. And with Barks, you have to wait there like a couple of days to a week because they want your dog to be spayed or neutered. So he wasn't done yet. And so they made me have to let them spade it, like neuter him, not spade, but neutered him. And I was mad about that because I was like, dang, my baby ain't even gonna know what it feel like to get a real nut like that. You know what I'm saying? But then I decided to get a chip, which I'm against chips, but I decided to get a chip just in case he got lost or someone stole him. I would know where he was at all times. Um, like I said, I really don't believe it. Like, I don't want them starting it on animals and then they try to say, okay, now we can transfer it over to humans. Because that's what they're going to probably try to do later. I ain't about to come in with a bump. I can feel it. You can see that light spot. It's nothing there right now, but I know that pimple is sitting right underneath my skin. I don't like that. So back on the story. So we seen him on a Wednesday, and he had to get the surgery on Sunday. So Thursday we was down there, me and my son. We sit outside his cage. Thursday, played outside the cage while he was inside the cage with him. Came down there, talked to him, got him used to seeing us and having fun when we came. He was excited, all that. And then on Friday, we came down, sit in front of his cage, and was talking to him. He was like, oh, he's coming home with us. So he's part of the family. So we're going to sit down here and interact with our dog before he gets home. So Saturday come around, Dak down there again. We didn't live too far from the shelter. It was a light rail. We live in Baltimore City, so it was a light rail ride to the camping yard. Well, actually, the Ravens Stadium stop, and then we just walked around the corner to the shelter when it was downtown, where the Top Golf area is. So we came down there Saturday, sit with him for about an hour, hanging out, chilling. We made sure nobody came over there and was talking to him or nothing. Oh, no, he's coming home with us. Oh, no, he's coming home with us. My son, like I said, he was 5, and it was a couple of weeks before his birthday. So he was like, all right, can we go down there and see Raleigh? Can we go down there and see Raleigh? Now, he named him Raleigh because my son's nickname was Raleigh in school. And Raleigh was a football player. NFL football player named Raleigh. I don't remember which one it was, but I do know that his friends and peers nicknamed him Raleigh. So he was like, nah, we're going to name him Raleigh because at the shelter, they named him Jacques. I'm like, really? You named a miniature pincher Jacques? I said, no, his name is going to be Raleigh. So, and we would call him Raleigh, and he would come to us. So that's what we started calling him. They told us when we picked him up on Monday, because Sunday, like I said, they had the surgery. On Monday, we picked him up. They said he was going to be a little drowsy. Like, okay, cool. But then I was like, okay, how about we wait till Tuesday? That way he's not drowsy, and I still have to, like, help him with the wound and stuff like that. So when we came to pick him up on Monday, I decided to just get him on Tuesday. We still sit outside the cage with him and talk to him and spent time with him. He really didn't move around a lot. He just was laying there drowsy and sore from the surgery. And we was telling him how bad we felt, and we were sorry that he had to get snipped, but that's the only way he could come out of there. Yeah, we was talking to him like a human. And they told us when we came to pick him up, we had to do an orientation with him. So when we got him, they told us, they said, when you get home, don't just automatically pick him up and put him somewhere. Go to what y'all doing, do whatever y'all was doing before he came into the family and before he came into the house, and let him come to you. It's going to take him a long time because he don't know y'all, blah, 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 blah. Do you know, soon as I open up my house door, this daggone dog going to sit there and leap onto my chair. And I sit down before, like, I put everything down, his toy, his stuff that he needed, his food, his bowls and stuff like that. As soon as I put him down and I took the leash off him, I said, you ain't gonna be in no leash. Like, this is your house. Your house completely. So you have free roam of the house just like everybody else. I go to sit down on the chair. He jumps on the chair and then jumps onto my lap and sits on my chest. Like, he's always supposed to be sitting on my chest. He was not letting me go nowhere. He was a little small, little petite little thing. Now he a little fat thing because before my mother died a couple of years ago, she used to feed him everything. She used to feed him. I'm like, Mom, will you stop feeding that dog everything? He got dog food. She was like, I ain't giving that dog no daggone just dog food. He got to taste what real life tastes like too. Like, all right, whatever. And so because I was over at my boyfriend's house a few days a week, she turned around and was pretty much having him in the bed with her, going to sleep, hanging out. My son, he would pick him up, he would jump on his bed, lay down and go to sleep. When I was home, he was always following me everywhere I went. So he was like, okay, if she gone, I got my nana or my grandma, and I got my brother who I'm always around. So being that said, he took it really hard when my mother passed. He knew something was wrong because my mother died at my house. She had colon cancer, colon cancer, stage 4. And they didn't know when she was going to go because it took 12 years for her cancer to come back. They had already took her stomach out and put in a replacement stomach. And so it took 12 years for anything to even resurface or surface at all. And so they was like, she could live years and years or she can go at any time. So my mother wanted to come home. So we enjoying ourselves, and I took her up to see her husband because her husband was in a nursing home, and we had to break the bad news to him that she wasn't going to be around very long. So we wanted them to say whatever they had to say to each other, and that she was going to come up there every day that she could, unless it was raining real bad, because we had to catch the bus. Nobody had cars. If it was raining or snowing, or if she wasn't feeling good enough, like if she was getting weaker and weaker, then she wouldn't be able to come. He understood. But one morning, it's just something in me told me to sleep in the living room, because I'm petrified of death. I am. And my whole fear was always that she was going to die in my room while I'm sleeping in there, and that was freaking me out to the point where at the last week of her life, which nobody knew it was the last week of her life, but the last week of her life, I had a dream, and my dream was somewhat, it looked like Jesus was preparing me that she was about to leave. He spoke to me and told me that she was not going to be around very long. And so I got kind of freaked out, and so I started calling the facility, asking the program that I was dealing with if they can try to get her into a nursing home facility so that she can, if she does pass away, then I can hear about it compared to me being the one that finds her and sees it, because I was going to be freaked out like, tomorrow. And my worst fears happened. They had found her a place, but it was going to take them 2 weeks because the person that was leaving had an extension to stay there for 2 more weeks. And so I'm like, okay, that's fine. And then something in me was like, nah, I ain't gonna put my mother in no nursing home. I'm fine. So that's where that dream came in at, and it was like a piece of calmness came over me. So that night, the night before she died, we was watching. Well, she went to Mount Olive Free Will Baptist Church under Bishop Oscar E. Brown and Lady Brown. Shout out to Mount Olive Free Will Baptist Church. The night before she died, me and her sitting in the living room. She laying on the couch, on one couch, and I'm sitting on the other couch, and my dog is sitting on my lap, and we watching the YouTube, and it's a Sunday, so I'm like, okay, let's listen to Bishop Brown's service today. She was like, yeah. She was happy to hear Bishop Brown preach, because we had not been able to go to the church pretty much ever since they moved out off of Saratoga and Fremont. Saratoga and Fremont. When that fire hit the church, because we didn't have no way to get around there. And she was always a faithful person who always wanted to go to church. And then her husband was in a nursing home, so he was the usher of the church. His name was Tony. His name was Wayne White, but we called him Tony. He was one of the ushers at the church. So we listened to the service, and it got to the part where it was a praise and worship part. And she asked me to stand her up so that we can shout. I'm like, okay. I gets her. She's really weak, so she can't stand on her own. And she has this walker. And she was in a wheelchair. And so I locked the wheelchair, and I put her arms around my neck, and I stood her up. And I moved the wheelchair part out the way, and I moved the table away from her. And when they started doing the praise and shouting, me and her dancing and praising and shouting, and she's saying thank you Jesus and hallelujah, and I'm clapping and laughing and smiling, and we singing and thanking Jesus and all that. We enjoying ourselves, and I could just remember myself thinking, my mama is standing up, she praising God even in the midst of the storm. That's what was going through my head. It wasn't going through my head that was the last day that I was going to see her alive. So we enjoying ourselves. We watched the whole service completely through. And that was the first time out of years that we actually watched the service on YouTube. So I set her back down, and I went and sat back down, and then we turned on a comedy, like one of those little shows where try not to laugh. And we turned on the show, and this guy, it's a tornado hitting, and this guy has a white big truck, and he gets out and tries to go on the other side of the truck and holds the truck to try to keep it from flipping over. Don't know why he thought that he can hold on to a truck and try to not let it flip in the middle of a F3, F4 storm. But he did that. And my mother laughed so hard. I was petrified. I was like, oh my gosh, that man could be dead. Like, we could have literally just seen this man lose his life. And my mother, I said, Ma, that's not funny. Like, that man could have just lost his life. That truck flipped over, and this man is on the side that it flipped over on. She's like, well, he should have never tried to hold it up. Who holds up? She started busting out laughing. I got that video on my YouTube channel. You can check that one out if you want to. She is hilariously laughing at this man trying to hold up the van during the storm. And so she had some disabilities, educational disability. She had learning disability, and she was deaf in both ears. I was able to get her a cochlear implant in one ear, and we chose not to do the other ear because she was hearing so clearly and well with the one ear. It wasn't no point in getting two ears. Um, so with our hearing aid, it's like a hearing aid that you put in the brain and it connects to your ear. And you got a magnet to it. Um, so I lifts her up after the show over with. I lifts her up because she said she was sleepy. I said, okay, cool. I takes her into the bedroom in the wheelchair and puts her back in the bed. I had a nurse that came to wash her up that morning. I put her on her favorite show. She always loved SpongeBob, Scooby Doo, Wheel of Fortune, Double Jeopardy, and she loved those shows like religiously. Like she watched them every single day. And because she didn't know how to use the smart TV, she would always ask me or my son Michael to come in and put it on the channel so she could watch it. I was trying to give her something to eat, but she just wasn't hungry. Um, this particular night, I took the hearing aid. I tried to take the hearing aid out her ear because she was about to go to sleep, and the magnet in her brain, because all the fat was off of her from her dying and getting so skinny, that the hearing aid, apparently the magnet was too strong for her head, and it ripped a hole this big in her head when the magnet came out with the hearing aid. So cochlear implants, if your relative, your family member, or you have a cochlear implant in, and that person is dying, and they are, or even if they have cancer and they having health issues, and that magnet, get it out of them now before they get worse and deteriorate more, because it will rip a hole in their head. Um, so when it took the piece of her chunk of her skin, her skin of her head out with hair, and it freaked me the heck out that I had to give her some pain medicine that knocked her out. I took some numbing medicine, and numbed it up. I tried to put some gauze on that, and put the the um the tape thing that holds that in place. Um, I recalled her doctors and office. They said that there was really nothing they could do because until um, the next day, because it was like maybe 10, no, about, let's say about 1 o'clock in the morning when that occurred. Um, she was crying, talking about it was really, really hurting. But when she took the medicine, she was peacefully and calm. I was in the process of trying to get her to the hospital before the medication wore off. When I came in the room about 3 in the morning to check on her, I'm coming in because normally that's when I change her. She had a bag, colostomy bag on her. And so I went in there to check to see if it was filled up, if it needed to be changed. That's when I realized she was dead. But the crazy part is her eyes was wide open, as if she had just woke up and was praying, because she was in her praying motion. She had just woke up, and her eyes was gray, where they turned cloudy gray. Both of her eyeballs turned cloudy gray, and she was like stiff as a board, like a wooden board, and she was still warm to the touch. So I'm steady trying to shake her to tell her to wake up, wake up, wake up. But I couldn't do CPR because I remembered the nurse had said that her body was so fragile that CPR would crack bones in her body. And so they told me that I couldn't call the ambulance in the hospital. I had to call them because they was the ones that was taking over her care. It was hospice care, but she had home hospice care. So I called them and I'm like, my mother's not breathing. Her eyes are gray, light gray. She's warm still, so she might still be in there. Help me, come help me, come help me, call an ambulance, something. And the nurse was like, baby, she just passed. Like, she had to have just passed about a couple of minutes, maybe even an hour before you came in. The coldness hasn't set in yet, but there's nothing we can do. We're coming. Um, y'all have to get everybody prepared and stuff like that. I'm zapping out. I'm screaming and yelling. I'm calling my boyfriend. At the time, um, I told my son. My son was in the room with his friend. I call him out the bedroom, my youngest, and he comes in, and he's like, his heart broke. He hurt. That was his. That's the only grandmother that he knew, and that's the one that he loved more than anything. There's nothing that he wouldn't do for her. No matter how young he was or how old he got, he would. She was a scratch off fanatic, and so she would run out of money. But he was always the type of person that would save his money. He a Pisces. He would always save his money, and so she would come to him, be borrowing money from him. I'm telling him, Michael, don't you give your grandmother no money, cause she gonna spend it. Although you'll get it back, but I'm trying to get her from constantly doing scratch offs every day. And so he was like, that's my grandma. So he gave her the money whenever she needed money. He would just give it to her. If she wanted her TV changed, he would come in the room no matter what he was doing and change the TV. If she wanted him to get him something out the kitchen, he would go in there and get that out the kitchen. So it hit him really, really hard when she left. I had to call my youngest sister. I had to call her, let her know that my mother passed on. She didn't take it too well. And then I had to go up to the nursing home and tell my stepfather that his wife had passed. His heart was broken. They was married for 34 years. Happily married for 34 years. And he was on dialysis. And he loved her so much that he was ready to go. He said, I want to go home, my mommy. I want to go home with Sharon. I don't want to be here no more. Because the only reason why he even agreed to dialysis is because he was sticking around for his wife. He wanted to be there so that he can be there with his wife. And we always thought that he was going to go before her. But because he was sick and she wasn't at the time. The dialysis just came out of nowhere. So he turned around and was crying. We telling him we sorry that we had to tell him that. And then he was refusing dialysis. He was not trying to take dialysis for nothing. He was ready to go. He wanted to be with her right then and there. He ain't even want her in heaven too long without him being there with her. And so he died 3 weeks after she did. And so we had her funeral first. He couldn't even make it to her funeral because he was sick inside the hospital at Johns Hopkins Bayview Medical Hospital. And they couldn't discharge him for him to go to her funeral. That hurted him to his heart. But we was able to let him watch her funeral because Mount Olive Free Baptist had recorded it on YouTube. And so he was able to see it, and he kept saying, my baby gone. That's my baby. I miss my baby. And and he was like, I just want to go home, my baby. I just want to go home, my baby. And I was like, Tony, I said, let me tell you this. None of us would be mad at you. None of us would be angry if you decided to give up and wanted to go home with your wife. We would love for you to stick around. And I told him, I said I made a promise to my mother that I was going to continue to come and visit you every chance I got, and that we would do everything we can to make sure that you wasn't in this nursing home by yourself. But I know that you miss your wife. So when you're ready to go, it's up to you. So he said, thank you for not being angry and mad at me. And I said, how could I? You was with my mother for 35 years. And I know you only stuck around because of her. So, and she wanted to be always there with you. So I was like, okay. I said, we'll still come up here and visit you when it ain't raining hard and it ain't snowing, just like my mother did. He was like, okay. So he ended up going to the hospital because he was refusing to eat and he was refusing dialysis. And the doctors was trying to force him to stay on dialysis by forcing him to go to treatment and forcing medication. And so when I went up there to the John Hopkins Hospital, Bayview Medical Hospital, I let them know. I said, it is his right and his choice. His wife just passed. If he does not want to continue with the treatment, that is his choice. I am not going to force him by making it where I make the decision to force him to continue with the treatment when that's not what he want anymore. And he feel like his world has already left. He was the only one left here besides I think two nieces that's I guess still around. I don't know where they at. I tried to reach out to them but couldn't find them. But his father passed. His sister and his brother passed. His grandmother and great grandmother passed. So he was the one that was left. And so his wife was his everything. And they loved each other like best friends, like husband and wife supposed to. So after he passed, we held on to her ashes, and then after the funeral, because my mother wanted Lady Brown to sing "I'm Going Up to Yonder," and I tried to respect all her wishes, so I asked Bishop Brown if Lady Brown could sing "Going Up to Yonder," and she did. She wanted her Bishop Brown, to do this service, and I made sure that Bishop Brown did the service. And I had family members that was threatening to fight me, attack me, all because my mother did not want her sisters or anyone at the funeral who was not a part of her life for 34 years